Welcome, everybody, to Cup with GUP on this beautiful Monday, August 9th, 2021. Happens to be my 38th birthday, so a little later this afternoon on Cup with GUP. Got all the prep work done for it, and then decided to do brunch with the family. And then we are locked and loaded the rest of the afternoon to get PGA rankings out and Smash Factor and all that good stuff. Between now, August 1st technically, and September 13th, Monday Night Football, use the code NFL, get 25% off any of our packages. Highly recommend the full site access that gets you to all of our NFL tools, PGA tools, lineup optimizer with many sports included in that. Massive amount of upgrades going on between now and the kickoff week for NFL. Can't wait for you guys to see the NFL tools. They are going to be awesome by the time we get them all wrapped up and finished. Rate and review us on iTunes. I will be doing giveaways NFL kickoff week specifically for the rate and review. Subscribe to us on YouTube and like this video as well. And tell me your favorite team to win the Super Bowl outside of Kansas City and Tampa Bay. So take those two out. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl this year? That'll get you into some. I do drawings on Wednesday. For now, when we get into the NFL season, I'll probably do 2 a week or so. Tell me your pick to win the Super Bowl outside of Kansas City or Tampa Bay. We got NFL power rankings today. A couple side notes on week 1 stuff. One team I'm higher on than others right now. One team I'm not completely sold on. Then PGA initial odds, top 5 that catch my eye. And then we will get out of here, and I'll be back tonight for Smash Factor. Full power rankings up on the website. Sent them out earlier this morning. I rank all 30 teams, break it down with their value ranking, their home field advantage ranking, have the current week 1 lines up there and all that for you guys to look at. Have all the home records since 2014 up there as well on the full power rankings. For me, number 10, not a lot of change since last week, but a few little small move up and down. 10 for me is going to be Seahawks. It's kind of, I want to see what the team, they started out good last year, struggled up and down. We know Russell Wilson can get it done, but I think they're going to be a really good team and certainly a playoff team, but I'm not completely sold on them. Number 9, I have the Cowboys, probably higher than others. That's fine. I think the healthier they are, which obviously means Dak, and the more reps they can get in and get going before the season starts is going to be beneficial as well. But the defense, like some of the guys they've added are Micah Parsons, we've heard all about him. They have potential to be really good and really healthy. So if we get a healthy offensive line, a healthy Dak, obviously, I think, Zeke says he's in the best shape since his freshman year at Ohio State. A lot of potential there, but they still got to prove it. So I got them at 9. 8, I have the Rams. I think we know how good they are. I think we will know how good they are fairly quickly into the season. We'll see with Stafford in that offense, McVay. I think they could be really awesome and maybe get overhyped quick, but we certainly know what the defense is all about. So if they can get clicking early, watch out for them to climb the ranks fairly quickly. Number 7, the 49ers. I'm not high on them from a fantasy perspective quite yet. I'll get into that a little bit later. But as a team and their schedule, which is, if it's not the weakest, it's one of the weakest schedules in the NFL, has them in the top 10 for me for sure. I think systematically they'll be great. There's some concerns when you're talking about season-long fantasy or whatever kind of fantasy stuff. I think the earlier we know about Lance and how all that works out is beneficial, but right now, a little down on them from a fantasy perspective, but I do like them as an overall team and overall package. 6, Cleveland. I'm a little worried about the hype, but on paper, when you look at the defense, I think the defense is good enough. It doesn't force Baker to have to be, obviously, play from behind a lot, have to be risky. Like, I think he's good in that role. Obviously, at OU, he had a very weak defense most of the time, and always knew it's a different perspective when you're on the field and you feel like if I don't score, the other team more times than not may score, and now we're losing a battle of a shootout, and that's hard in college. It's really hard in NFL. They have a great defense. I think that benefits Baker. Great running game, which also helps. A great playoff team. We saw that last year. They gave Kansas City all they wanted. So if they can just get through the season. but sometimes this could be the team I talked about last week that we always have teams that get overhyped and then they fall off, and then vice versa, teams that are nowhere mentioned hardly ever, and they wind up in the playoffs. Cleveland worries me about being that team that's getting all the hype and they fall off this year. Although I like them, obviously. I'd love to see Baker do well, but I got them there. Bills, for me, not as high as them as my boy Ryan is. They should usually make the playoffs. I just wouldn't lock them yet as an AFC East title. I think Miami's going to be better than what people think. New England, I mean, we'll see. This is a big year for Belichick. I'm not going to count him out. I know Brady is getting a lot of credit for that duo, but Belichick's a pretty damn good coach. And, they spent some money. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to be a great team. It's really going to depend on the quarterback play for most parts. But, I mean, there were years in there where that defense, was their biggest, Brady was always good, but there was years their defense carried them, no doubt. And so they can piece some of that up. I'm not going to count out Belichick yet, but the Bills are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not I've seen some, 13, 14 win projections, and I don't know if I get there yet. Ravens, number 4, solid all the way around. I think if Lamar continues to grow, I think this team goes as far as his growth goes. So if he continues to grow and just add on from year to year, that team continues to get better. They have good pieces surrounding him that he can win several games with his legs. But I think if he can grow, he doesn't have to be Mahomes throwing the ball or anything or Aaron Rodgers. But if he can continue to grow and put pieces around him to make that happen, that only helps him more. So I got them 4 for now. Packers, I got them 3rd. I think. They'll be right there in the hunt for the Super Bowl in the NFC this year. As long as things, and they, so far they seem to, everything's kind of quiet. That's off the radar now. For weeks, all we heard was Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. Now, not much there. This team was, 2 or 3 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl last year. So I'm not going to discount Aaron Rodgers. I do think if they start off bad, we could obviously see some, issues in the locker room or inside there potentially, but I'm just not. I think Aaron's here to. Once all that mess is behind him, for now I'm going to have him as a top 3 team until I'm proven wrong. Bucks, I have number 2. Wouldn't be shocked with some regression here. I think people think they dominated all year last year, and they really did. And they went through some, bumps and bruises, but that was to be expected with no preseason, brand new quarterback, all that kind of stuff. But their defense is so good and played we saw what they did in the Super Bowl. But if you go back, they continuously played better and better and better. That, you got a healthy Brady, fired up Brady. He looks as competitive as ever when you hear some of the things out of training camp. I'm not going to count them out now. I still think they're the best team in the NFC until proven wrong. And at number 1, I have the Chiefs. I still think they're the best team and team to beat overall, head to toe type of deal. They lost Super Bowl. I get it last year, but Mahomes is that special. The team is that special. And they have a lot of weapons. Defense is, always getting better, and they added to it. So I think they'll be right there, obviously, and they're going to be my number 1 team until I see something differently. Biggest week 1 line movements, just some half-point adjustments, but the Dolphins did move from +2.5 to +1.5. I don't know if that's, because of the Howard lock-in, that he's back now. He's a big piece of that. But that was a 1-point move, in a week's time during we're 3 weeks out of the regular season. It's pretty significant in this kind of market. You don't see that all the time. A few other half-point adjustments, but nothing's crazy. I have all that broken down on the site. Our version 3 of our top 200 rankings are out today. I think Ryan either posted them now or we'll have them up for the premium members. All our top 200 broken down by position. Probably 2 things to me, week 1-ish, and reading, and you go through Twitter, you go through beat writers, and you go through, and obviously this fantasy industry, which we are glued into. I think the team that I'm higher on and have potential expectations over some is the Dolphins. Howard stays now. That's huge. And I think because of Burrow and Herbert, their seasons last year, I think Tua's just kind of been written off to an extent. And I wasn't the biggest Tua guy, coming out of college or whatever, but he did some special things there in college. And I just wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they have a probably top 5 defense in the league or up there. And similar to Baker, it's gonna, if they can get on a roll and develop the offense and have great weapons. I mean, Fuller comes over, Parker's back. You got Waddle from Bama. You always have Gesicki. It's a pretty good offense there. I mean, very not similar. I'm not comparing them to the Browns, but not too far off. Now, I mean, the big question mark is Tua. I just think that I wouldn't be surprised if they upset a team or two early, maybe get some motivation, and certainly are right there fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the year. I like them a lot more coming into the season than most. And I don't hate them from a fantasy perspective, especially like season long. Say you load up on running backs and wide receivers. Like, I don't mind having a Tua late. I don't know if he'd make my top 12, so there's obviously others, but stashing him, waiting to see, especially if you just go cheap quarterbacks or streaming quarterback type of deal. They got the offense around him to do it, so I don't hate that. Team I'm not completely sold on right now is the 49ers. Really from fantasy perspective, like I just said. A lot of it is because they don't know. We don't know. They say Jimmy G's a quarterback, but that's just going to be a thing until it's not. And that always worries me, especially when it's the quarterback in that kind of locker room. How long does that battle? Meaning, okay, if Jimmy G starts game 1, does it go away, or it feels like there's always going to be every bad game or bad move? Why aren't they putting Lance in type of deal? And the running backs could go many ways with market share this year. Good overall backfield. I like Trey Sermon more long-term than anything. Nothing like he's going to have a breakout year this year. But from a fantasy perspective, with Shanahan, the way that they alternate reps and all that kind of stuff, like none of them make me feel warm and fuzzy. Wide receiver have upside for sure, but that kind of depends on the quarterback. Like if they came out just for whatever reason, let's say this weekend or next week, they said, hey, Trey Lance has won the job now. Once they make that move, like they're not going back to Jimmy G, I don't think. And maybe that bumps up some of those wide receivers for me. Certainly Kettle is probably the safest play of a 49er for anything. And while I think they'll be okay in a betting market or, top 10 team in the league type of deal, top 5 in some, I don't question any of that. But when you try to look for value and upside in the fantasy world, man, I just don't see it right now. Kettle's probably one that I do like. And if Lance was deemed the starting quarterback, obviously he'd shoot straight up many levels just because of the running ability and all that. And what we've seen recently with Kyler and even Josh Allen with his running, stuff like that. That's one to keep an eye on as we get through the next 2 or 3 weeks, in my opinion. PGA goes to Wyndham this week, the final regular season event of the year, and the playoffs, FedEx Cup playoffs start next week. We'll get more into the details of yesterday. What a crazy weekend day, all in all, for PGA golf. A lot of fun stuff to talk about over on the Smash Factor. But top 5 guys that catch my eye on this Monday: Willie Z, 25-1. Siwoo Kim, 40-1. Gooch, 50-1. Doc Redman, 80-1. And Chris Kirk, 100-1. Were the first 5 that kind of caught my eye, just taking an initial look at the board. Normally on this Monday, again, once we have regular season going, we'll review the Sunday, betting stuff on NFL, early odds, looking at NFL, stuff like that. Obviously filling it in right now with a few, tidbits here and there for NFL DFS and stuff like that. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback on it. Remember, NFL gets you 25% off. Any package right now includes a 7-day no-risk trial. If you're a current member, DM me if you would like to upgrade. I'm kind of caught up on everything now, so I got behind there a day or so on getting back to everybody, but I've gotten everybody their code and ready to go. And I'll be around the rest of the day. We kind of took care of all the family stuff last night and then the brunch this morning, so spend some time with my kids tonight, but other than that, I'll be around. So if you're looking to upgrade on the full site, come check us out now. I will see you tonight for Smash Factor as well. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you.